Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of State of the Yankees. Today is Sunday, December 30th, 2018, and this being the last episode of the calendar year, I decided that this would be a great opportunity to do a year review for the New York Yankees. And this being Aaron Boone's first year as the manager of the New York Yankees, I figured I'd draw up some statistics to show you an assessment statistically and objectively as well as subjectively of how he did in his first year as the Yankees manager. And feel free to provide your comments, your feedback, thoughts, opinions, whatever you like. He's obviously going to be with the Yankees for at least a few years, so you have to sort of somewhat reserve your opinion until you see more of his track record to see what he does with the team. In his first year, he made it to the division series against the Boston Red Sox. They lost the series 3-1 in 4 games, and so it's worth taking a look at how he compares to former Yankees managers as well as his biggest rival, Alex Cora, who was the first-year manager of the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, that goes without saying that the Red Sox went on to win the World Series last year, finished first place in the division, 108-54, and he was. But here's the key, okay? He may have been a first-year manager like Aaron Boone, but he was also the bench coach for the 2017 World Series champion Houston Astros, the same Houston Astros that in Girardi's last year, the Yankees took the Astros to Game 7 of the ALCS. That builds in a person a lot of managerial experience, and it puts you in an excellent position to see what works and what doesn't work. Having reached that plateau, they went on to beat the Dodgers in the World Series in 2017. So Alex Cora knew how to play the Yankees and knew how to win. And he also wanted to, come think of it, he played the Dodgers with the Astros in 17 and the Red Sox against the Dodgers in the World Series in 18. So he was playing against 2 teams he knew very well. Now, without getting into the specifics of the depth of the talent of the rosters with the Red Sox and the Yankees, I'm just wanting to emphasize that Cora knew his rivals, knew his competition, and had actual professional experience in those leadership roles prior to 18. So he had a little bit of an advantage coming in against a rookie manager with zero, nada prior experience as a manager. Yes, he comes from a baseball family. That's great. My father and brother follow sports too. That doesn't make them experts on sports. Yes, granted, he did play for a number of years for the Reds, Yankees, Indians, Marlins, Nationals, and Astros. Bear in mind, of the teams he's played for, none of them won a World Series, most of which never even made the playoffs while he was playing with them. So he doesn't have that experience of playing on a team that made it far. His most predominant year was with the Yankees in 2003 when he helped them get to the World Series against none other Marlins, who he later played for as a player. So he has some playoff experience, but he wasn't exactly a standout player. He was very average in his playing career. But I did not list that in these statistics, though, because we're talking about Aaron Boone as the manager. Okay? So, in retrospect, let's consider his predecessors. Joe Girardi was a 1-year manager coming in to the 2009 campaign, or the 2008 campaign. He was the manager of the Marlins in 2006, and with the Yankees in 2008, he placed 3rd, 89 and 73. Say what you want about how he was analytical and blah blah blah. I really was reserved about him as a selection coming in to replace Torre, because Torre is like the epiphany of awesome managers. He goes right up there with Tommy Lasorda and forgetting the Braves manager Cox and other managers who are like Hall of Fame caliber managers. I mean, you would drool to have a Torre or Lasorda or any of these other like Hall of Fame caliber managers. The Yankees may have gotten dished on by the media because Torre's manager experience was with the Mets, Braves, and Cardinals over 15 years, having never made the playoffs. Be that as it may, you're talking about a guy who knew how to manage the egos of talent, who knew how to get the best out of players, who knew what he was doing, who took the Yankees in 1996 and finished first place with a 92-70 record and won the World Series. Also, was the first guy since Stengel to establish a Yankees dynasty of winning 3 World Series championships in 4 years, not to mention the fact that he went to a 4th World Series championship in 5 years. So, Joe Torre is like a modern day godsend for the Yankees. You can't ask for a better manager. So when they went to Girardi, who was the previous catcher for the Yankees, I was very reserved, but I said, okay, they made that decision for a reason. They wanted somebody who was more analytical because you're talking about the dawn of the Moneyball age where the A's propagated to other teams. You got to be more statistics based. You got to be more analytical based. And Joe Torre was a very gut based manager, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you can assess somebody's talent and caliber based upon how they play and how they carry themselves, that can go a long way. Is it everything? No, because when you have the Moneyball era where you're evaluating talent with using metrics in combination with gut, it brings in players that you were previously underestimated who had unknown talent and potential and can take a team, like for example the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004 using the Moneyball approach. You're talking about players who were very underappreciated, undervalued, and using the Moneyball approach beat not only the Yankees in the World Series, but also or in the ALCS, but also won the World Series. So the approach, when you do it right with the right amount of money and the right combination of factors, can certainly be effective, as demonstrated on multiple occasions, not just with the Red Sox. But having said that, I digress. Joe Girardi, when he finished 3rd place in 2008, and you took the talent that Joe Girardi or Joe Torre was able to take to the playoffs every single year of his 14-year career with the Yankees as manager, and he finished 3rd place. I'm like, this guy is a freaking disgrace. He doesn't know what he's doing. He knows how to read numbers, but, I mean, a child can read numbers. You have to know what to do with that. When to pull players, when to bring in players, where to play players, when to play players. There's a lot of gut instincts that go beyond analytics. You have to know the game. And sure, as a coach, or I should say as a catcher, that gives you a lot more analytical knowledge or background of the game, because managers like Socia from the Angels and others who were previous catchers who went on to manage teams, while statistically speaking they have, generally speaking, fared better in regular season records than those who came in to be managers who were not catchers, that's not an MLB all criteria to go based upon. There's too many variations and inconsistencies to establish that catchers make great managers. There's no evidence to definitively prove that. I can go into another video if you like, but for today's purposes, let's get back to Aaron Boone and his predecessors. Now, having said, gone through Girardi and Torre, Aaron Boone finished this year in 2nd place, wild card bound at 162. Now, 100 wins for anybody is a very good year, bar none. I don't care if you've been managing for 1 year or 20 years. If you can get your team to 100 wins, that is a great regular season for you. And there were only 3 teams in the majors last year that got to 100 wins. The Yankees, Red Sox, and Houston. Now, having said that, Boston had to go through both New York and Houston to get to the World Series. I digress. The fact of the matter is, Aaron Boone, by all statistical measurements, had technically a successful season. However, the fact that he had a lack of pitching in the rotation and he didn't have the ability to get the ball to his bullpen with a lead. Pitchers weren't able to get out of the fourth inning was one of his weaknesses. He had the best bullpen in the game. He also had one of the deepest lineups in the game. They broke the Yankees' single season record for home runs. You're talking about a franchise that had Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth. The list goes on. Mickey Mouse, Roger Maris's. I mean, Yogi Berra's. I mean, when you have teams that have those kind of Hall of Famers and you're able to set a single season record for home runs, then you definitely have a deep lineup. But home runs sell tickets. Defense wins championships, and what you had was a lineup that, while they could hit a lot of home runs, they weren't able to bring in runners. You could get people on base because people were certainly afraid to pitch to these juggernauts, but if you don't have the support in the lineup to bring them around and get people in, if you let opposing pitching shut you down, granted, your David Price, your Chris Sales, your Dallas Keuchels, your Charlie Martins, you had a lot of high caliber talent they were going up against in the postseason. However, you still have to be able to play the small ball. The fundamental reason why Houston was able to defeat the Yankees in 2017 ALCS was they played small ball better than New York. The reason why we fell against Boston in the ALDS in 2018 was the Red Sox were just killing it in small ball. If you got a player on, they brought him in. You had obviously their weakness was the bullpen. We certainly weren't able to make them pay for it from time to time. And it got to the point where when it came to the world, that Alex Cora was willing to play starters in place of relievers to close out games. Says a lot about how weak their bullpen was. But here's the thing: their rotation was deep, their lineup could hit, and more importantly, they won the small ball game. So it's just like in football, when you have to win the running game, you have to win the passing game, or what have you. They won the small ball game. And the Houston Astros won the small ball game. Alex Cora knows how to play you at your level and beat you at your own game. That's going to make him a formidable rival and foe in the years to come. I want to see how Aaron Boone is going to do this year now that you've got an even bit more stacked lineup and a reinforced rotation with Paxton and others, and Happ. Granted, I don't know why they signed Sabat at the end of their year. He's so beyond dumb, but that's beside the point. I digress. Anyway, the point of the matter is, he had a successful regular season, but couldn't play the small ball in the playoffs to get to the next round. Could they have beaten the Red Sox? I believe they could have. If they'd done things a little differently, if they had a better rotation and were able to bring people in when they got on base. So, I want to know what you think about Aaron Boone. I want to know what you think about their first season. What do you expect next season? How do you think they'll fare in AL East against Alex Cora and the Boston Red Sox? And if you just happen to be browsing through the internet and happen to come across this channel, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. And I want to know what you think about what I think. So please, in the comments below, leave your thoughts and opinions, any questions you have, and I'll be happy to address them in a future video. Until then, have a wonderful new year. Congratulations, New York Yankees, for a successful season, albeit too short of a season. And hopefully next year is the year we win the World Series. Go Yankees!